Hello, how do you do? I think we are recording here. Haha, I see actual volume. That's a good sign. So what have we here? You probably are asking. This is the new Sample Science Player, version 1. And if you first kick it up and don't hear anything, as I did for the very first time, it's because the first little bit doesn't actually have any audio. This actually works pretty nicely because you don't have the time of loading something up. Not that it takes a lot of time for some of the simpler patches, but just remember, you don't hear anything, don't panic. Now it's nice that the range, oh, there you go, blink, 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 is all in green. You can go up and down and get some weird sounds there. Now, while I was messing around on the keyboard earlier, I just came up with this little, I'm not quite sure you could call it a melody, but it will probably somewhat suffice. Now, unless you are far more into such things than I am, I must admit saw waves and other waves don't really excite me that much. I mean, cool to have, but less than incredibly thrilling, but we do have a number here. And while we're here, we could note things like attack. Which seems fairly nicely functional. Now, if memory serves, if we pull back the sustain, we'll get a different effect. See how quickly that dies? And putting it back. We can also run up the release and count to 13 while it sits there and still plays and plays and plays and plays. If anything, I think maybe the release is a little difficult to control, because if you want just a little release, it's kind of hard to get. You can just kind of pull that up a little bit. You're still getting quite a lot. And you also have reverb, which is nice. All right, there you go. Let's get to something a little less basic. Let's actually try something bass. There you go. Yeah, a pun or something. No, I cannot sing. I can rumble lowly, but not in tune of any description. So forgive me if I occasionally go boom, boom, boom. I guess we could lower my alleged little piece here quite a lot. See if we can get it into the bass range. This is Studio One, by the way. Version 2. I haven't bothered to upgrade to version 3 since it costs money, and I'm not really a musician of any sort. So that sounds, bassy. What can I say? I don't know if it's my favorite all-time bass sound, but it does sound a little bassy. All right, continuing down to the bass synth, which can sort of be a weird tenor synth, but is, I suspect, more intended to be bass. Turn up the volume a little bit there. All right, so that's kind of a thud bass there. Oh, a double bass. Sounds more like a plucked double bass. Yeah, more of a plucked double bass. Oh, one thing, if you're wondering about using these in, YouTube videos or whatever, he very cleverly lists public domain sample science, very cleverly lists public domain or whatever the license is and where he got it from, which is great because some things in the past have been a little questionable. I've always tried to be very upfront with where I got things from, naming it Iowa for the Iowa Orchestra or what have you. Um, so it's really good to know when you're messing around with freebies that you can legitimately use them and no one is going to come screaming at you, hopefully. All right, so we've got a dual synth bass. Got to admit, not really a synth guy. No offense for those of you. So I don't know. Let's just take it over here with some low notes. So that is that. There's a lot of things on this list, aren't there? Seem to have got a little bit to the red there. All right, that's the fretless bass and the Moog bass. Do you like the pictures there? I thought you did a great job on the pictures. And the knobs. I wonder if I have the keyboard plugged in. Ugh. It's not that heavy a keyboard. I don't know why I'm going ugh. Seems a little bit softer volume-wise at the bottom. Yes, I am using the black keys because when you have no clue, whoops, what you're doing, the pentatonic scale is relatively hard to mess up, though as you can see, I'm kind of managing to do it. All right, picked bass guitar. Ooh, nice. Oh, bass thunder there. almost have passed for music, if you're not very picky. Ooh, the Rick. Okay. Jeff G. As a matter of fact, I believe I've made my own version, for Contact at least. I can't remember if I did it for Maze, of this guitar. It's very nice. And Jeff is a very cool guy. Yeah, Jeff's a cool guy. I'll say that while I'm not playing anything here. He's made some awesome bass stuff. I think about 3 different versions of his Rick. So thank you, Jeff. I think it's Jeff Glad, isn't it? Sorry if I got that wrong, Jeff. If you happen to ever listen to this. Okay. There's the white key. And yes, I almost know the C major. Portions of the C scale. It's a great thing about digital music and DAWs and the things like that, because you can basically just mess about and edit it all later. Someone might actually think you're good at something. There's something else I want to actually mention here that's kind of cool. If you click on that little doohickey button right there, you can actually go grab other instruments. Now I happen, come on, there we go, to host Necromare's instruments. He is a completely awesome dude. Come on, my book 3 terabyte drive, who has made lots of really cool 32-bit Maze sample instruments in the past that were not available really to 64-bit anymore. There we go. I think we're actually making some progress. And with this, you can actually, should we try? The toy piano's fun. You can actually load these into the player. And this is 64-bit Sample Science Player, SSP, as I like to call it since I'm lazy. And there, in all its glory, is the toy piano. Now, a little trick here to get back is just to jump to another one and then come back, because when you load someone else's instrument, you sort of lose that little doohickey button that you need to press. That's a good technical term there. Doohickey button. Where was the instruments backup? There you go. You can see I have 1 or 2 instruments in here. I've spent a little too much money across the years, but hey, single guy can get away with a few things. I wonder what the office is. Huh. Select sound from the menu to the left. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I picked a bad example there. Though, let me try transposing it up. See if I get anything here. Well, okay. So we have proved that it's not perfect, or that I don't know what I'm doing, both of which are highly plausible. The other thing you might want to do is seriously considering putting any instruments nearby, or maybe even in the sample player instruments directory, which you can see is where all those are loaded, because you do each time have to go and pick your instrument. Once again, it doesn't remember your last directory, nor apparently do I. Okay, here we go. Let's try, I don't know, whale song sounds like it might be weird. Huh. I'm hearing a little bit of cut out there. Let's try to up the release maybe. I don't know. Well, anyway, you get the idea that Sample Science Player can, in point of fact, load more than its own samples, though some of what I tried there probably wasn't the best example in the history of the space-time continuum, but you know, what you gonna do? Let us, out of curiosity, try running the tempo up to like, I don't know, 400 and just see if we can. Well, that was different. I wonder if we transpose it upwards, what would happen? Well, I mean, in theory, it should, get higher unless there's no audio up there. Okay, there you have it. Bicycle bells, which are, I'm going to go on a limb and say a moderate rarity in the sampled music world. Let's pull this down a little bit. Let's just try 300. See what it sounds like with. All right, so we've got audio all the way. Just a saxophone. Sorry, I've been watching The Simpsons. Saxophone. Lisa would love this. What's impressive about that is you see the K2000 archive. If I understand correctly, that's actually based on Kurzweil sounds going way back. So that sounds pretty good given how long it's going back. And many of the samples here are sort of vintage, and that is a cool thing, but just, kind of so you know, you're probably not going to get the latest and greatest multi-sampled events here. They're probably, one velocity layer and stretched across a couple of notes at a time, that sort of thing. You're not getting the old joke of 1,024 samples per note, the 128 velocity layers and 8 round robins or something like that. The tuba. Little light on the brass, I must admit. So you got a little bass going there. Now, I have just kicked this up. And as you have long ago guessed, I am no expert nor a musician. An expert, yeah. No expert or musician. Basically, they let me in the club because I make digital musical instruments and have given away a few million here and there across the years. So that sort of gets me a pass on the fact that I really have no clue what I'm doing. I'm sort of the inverse of Beethoven or Bach or someone like that who was a grand master. I'm a grand non-master. That said, I'm just curious what the legato sounds like here, how it works. Definitely monophonic, I would say. Yeah, definitely monophonic. And tuba may not be the best instrument to mess around with in that regard. Huh. Okay, no idea what's going on here. All right. We're in a video game and probably overdriving things a little bit in our video game, so bring that down. Okay. Hey, that's retro. He was not kidding. If that was the bleep. That's definitely some boom going on there. How loud do I have that? Okay. Yeah, a little warm on that one. Moving right along. Boom. Game coins, huh? I'm not sure you'd really want to do it this way, but it's kind of cool to be able to hit the little buttons there under the controllers. So that's kind of fun. Hurt, huh? Yes, indeed. Lose? No, say it ain't so. I've been playing the FX3 pinball, and the various sounds of losing, etc. are probably a little too close. Higher fidelity probably, but I'm hearing lots of losing. Noises when I'm trying to play. All right, so there we have Chip's sound effects, and now Chip's SROM. Huh, okay. Oh, cool picture. I'm liking it. Tell you what I'm gonna do. See, this 11 medley, which I did not write, contrary to somewhat popular belief. Well, that's no good. Well, hopefully it'll still sound reasonable. If everything sounds slightly out of tune, maybe it's because I shouldn't have put 44.1 in 48, which seemed to be the other way that I could record. Still sounds reasonable, so let's see what happens. We're in Poly. I'm going to pull the volume down here just in case. With a real piano type sound. It's different. Well, yeah. Okay. Wow. I'm not really a huge fan of 8-bit audio, I must admit. I know it makes me evil. Use the little keys to go down. You can see. I can actually go down farther on the keyboard. Alrighty. Chord bass. Is that a whole chord? Happy Happy ARP. Yeah, holds it for you too. If you're into chips, this should make you happy. Hey, congratulations, Sample Science himself made this. Okay, too high for my old ears. Yeah, a lot of range in your magic lead. Old dark house, huh? I said old dark horse for a second there. Yeah, the ears may be old, so are the eyes. Told you I was no musician. Did you believe me? I suspect you did. All right, what do we got going here? Now, I believe this actually allows you to assign different outputs 1 through 16, which can be highly useful, especially for drums, so that is clever. Plus, let's see if these actually work here. Yeah, I'm hearing nothing. Come on, there we go. Quite a lot, so that seems to work. Let's try. Huh? Panning doesn't. Oh, okay. Oh, I see the pans up here. Yeah. Hey. And it went left. And it went right. And that is obviously on and off. The Dub Trio, huh? Gooey drum kit? Okay. Huh. That's maybe a little glitch. Now, I have tried across the years to make instruments where the keys were highlighted, and let me tell you, it is a royal pain. I admire Sample Science for doing this. If I remember right, you actually pretty much have to pick each key and then go pick a separate JPEG image, basically, and drop it in there. So you're doing it like one at a time. Click the notes you want, go up in your little icon when you're building, whatever you want to call it, when you're building these things in Maze sample players. Sorry, it's getting a little late where I am. And you have to actually go in and grab the JPEG from the directory, put it on, rinse and repeat. And trust me, you do that about 88 times, you are done for a while and off to get yourself some nice, refreshing tea, because tea is the real refreshment. Don't understand all you coffee people. Like you, don't understand you. All right. So the little colored lights up here don't light up when you press the keys down here. Wonder if they do when I press them on my keyboard. No, they do. Oh, wait. Well, one of them did. Okay. Oh, I see. Those are probably separate toms or something. Anyway. Left tom, middle tom, high tom. So what's that? Okay, don't think. Oh, no, that is actually making noise there. It's the The GM kit for drums is a touch weird. Kind of have to get used to it, and I haven't messed with trying to make drums for a while, so I've kind of forgotten. So, okay, what doesn't work when I turn that off? Neither of those work, so those are clearly, okay, all three of those are clearly the low tom, okay. Slight variations there. Somebody clever on drums could tell you what those variations are, but might be, hitting the side as opposed to the center, or something along those lines. Ah, drum expert here. Not. All right. Loading, loading, loading. Oh yeah, the open source drum kit is awesome. I've also messed with this myself, and guys who made it did a really good job. I don't know, I wouldn't mind, I think, a little more sustain there. And now, okay, let's try reverb. Here we go. Pump up the release. Well, there you have it anyway. And I think I am going to hit stop for the moment and see if any of this actually recorded. All right, stop recording. See you later.